How many years is in one presidential term? 2, 4, 6. 4. Who is the father of our country? George Washington, James Madison, Alexander Hamilton. George Washington. Like, comment, subscribe. Which is a civic duty only for citizens of the United States? Paying taxes. Serving on a jury. Serving in the army. Serving on a jury. Which is not one of the three branches of government? Legislative, homeland, judicial. Homeland. The three branches of government are legislative, executive, and judicial. The legislative branch is authorized to make laws, alter, and repeal them through the power vested in Congress. This institution is divided into the Senate and the House of Representatives. The judicial branch evaluates laws, and the executive branch carries out laws. What do we call the first 10 amendments to the Constitution? Freedom Act, Bill of Rights, Rule of Law. Bill of Rights. What is one right or freedom guaranteed by the First Amendment? Right to bear arms. Right to representation. Freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. When was the Constitution written? 1776, 1787, 1778. 1787. The Constitution was written during the summer of 1787 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, by 55 delegates to a constitutional convention that was called ostensibly to amend the Articles of Confederation, 1781-89, the country's first written constitution. Which is the supreme law of the land? The Constitution, the Supreme Court, the President. The Constitution. A constitution has been regarded to be the main law of land. To be precise, it contains all laws mentioned in a clear-cut manner. As it is the creator of all laws, it has been regarded to be the main law of land. What is an amendment? A suggestion, a correction, a change or addition. A change or addition. Who wrote the Declaration of Independence? Alexander Hamilton, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson. How many amendments does the Constitution have? 21, 27, 11. 27. Which right does the Declaration of Independence establish? Liberty, prosperity, justice. Liberty. When was the Declaration of Independence adopted? July 4, 1778. July 4, 1776. July 4, 1787. July 4, 1776. Which is not one of the two parts of the U.S. Congress. House of Representatives. Supreme Court. Senate. Supreme Court. How many justices are on the Supreme Court? 9, 10, 12. 9. Who is the Commander-in-Chief of the military? The Vice President. The President. Secretary of State. The President. According to Article 2, Section 2, Clause I of the Constitution, the President of the United States is Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy of the United States, and of the militia of the several states, when called into the actual service of the United States. Since the National Security Act of 1947. What territory did the United States buy from France in 1803? California Territory. Louisiana Territory. Western Territory. Western Territory. Which is not a power of the federal government. Quartering soldiers in private homes. Forming an army. Declaring war. Quartering soldiers in private homes. Who served as president during World War I? Herbert Hoover. Franklin D. Roosevelt. Woodrow Wilson. Woodrow Wilson. Thomas Woodrow Wilson was an American politician and academic who served as the 28th President of the United States from 1913 to 1921. A member of the Democratic Party, Wilson served as the president of Princeton University and as the governor of New Jersey before winning the 1912 presidential election. As president, Wilson changed the nation's economic policies and led the United States into World War I in 1917. He was the leading architect of the League of Nations, and his progressive stance on foreign policy came to be known as Wilsonianism. How many U.S. senators are there? 50. 356. 100. 100. How many years make up one term of a U.S. Senator? 6. 8. 4. 6. How many years make up one term of a House of Representatives member? 8. 2. 6. 2. What month is the U.S. presidential election held in? January. April. November. November. If both the president and the vice president can no longer serve, who becomes president? Secretary of State. Speaker of the House, Secretary of Defense, Speaker of the House. Who signs bills to become laws? The members of the Supreme Court, Congress, the President. The President. Who vetoes bills? The President, Congress, Supreme Court. The President. What does the Cabinet do? Advise the President. Enforce federal laws. Create new bills. Advise the President. A cabinet is a body of high-ranking state officials, typically consisting of the executive branch's top leaders. Members of a cabinet are usually called cabinet ministers or secretaries. The function of a cabinet varies. In some countries, it is a collegiate decision-making body with collective responsibility, while in others it may function either as a purely advisory body or an assisting institution to a decision-making head of state or head of government. Which is not a position in the cabinet. Secretary of Agriculture, Secretary of Energy, Secretary of Digital Technology, Secretary of Digital Technology. Which is not a power that belongs to U.S. states. Providing safety, coining money, providing education. Coining money. Delegated, sometimes called enumerated or expressed, powers are specifically granted to the federal government. This includes the power to coin money, to regulate commerce, to declare war, to raise and maintain armed forces, and to establish a post office. There are 4 amendments to the Constitution about who is allowed vote. Which is not to one of them. Citizens do not have to pay to vote. Both man and woman can vote. Citizens must be born in the U.S. to vote. Both man and woman can vote. Which was not one of the 13 original U.S. states. Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Tennessee. Tennessee. Who started the first free libraries? Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln. Who was the first Postmaster General of the United States? Benjamin Franklin, John Quincy Adams, George Washington. Benjamin Franklin. On July 26, 1775, the Congress appointed Benjamin Franklin the first Postmaster General of the organization now known as the United States Postal Service. In the more than 2 centuries since Benjamin Franklin was appointed our first Postmaster General in 1775, the Postal Service trademark has grown and changed with America, boldly embracing new technologies to better serve a growing population. How many voting members does the House of Representatives have? 435, 532, 250. 435. Here are currently 435 voting representatives. 5 delegates and 1 resident commissioner serve as non-voting members of the House, although they can vote in committee. Representatives must be 25 years old and must have been U.S. citizens for at least 7 years.